Alright, quick tutorial. How to rebuild the Psycho Ballistics Delta 68 paintball marker. Feeling sick today. Figured I'd get something mildly productive done. Here's the things you need. 1, 2, 3, 4 Allen keys, the 5/32, the 1/8, the 3/32, the 5/64, I believe. Pull those out. Need a screwdriver. And I already have it pre-installed, but it's called the puncture valve, a complete unit from MCS number 18. I had a leak, so I'm just figuring out what's going on with this. Take this off. Pull that out, put it aside. That gives you access down into here. Unscrew that more easily. Next, we can take off the lower grip. Two screws, 1 and 2. That's all it is. This part's all pretty self-explanatory. Save those for later, of course. Don't need that. It's a good time to clean everything. Next up, this is actually this one is for the grips. This, I think it's the 3/32. If you want to take the grips off, you do this side piece here with your 1/16. Take that off. Oh, get the name of it with the manual. I've got a really old, crumpled up manual for this marker. But essentially, this is where the air is passing by. So make sure that's in good shape. So maybe it's just a milling thing, how they needed to get this this extra chamber in here. But needless to say, we have an extra gasket. All right, next up, and I forgot about this one. This is this comes out. That's what the grip screws into, but it also holds your gas valve from sliding around once it's in there. We have a roll pin that keeps it from moving back. Pin comes out, out. All of this comes out just like that. That's how the assembly goes. Now from here, we got to remove the puncture valve. Flathead screwdriver goes in. I've done this a few times, so it's kind of messed up in the learning process. Just take your time, unscrew it. Once that's out, this is the new piece that you will be replacing from MCS. Their puncture valve. Notice it doesn't have that same O-ring that the factory one has, so I think it's a little easier to deal with. If you remember, which I'm sure anyone who's owned one of these in the past remembers, it used to be an O-ring that goes inside of this guy on the front of it, and you put the CO2 cartridge in wrong or whatever, and it's just gone. I removed the O-ring off the back of this. It's still good, so I have it set aside for this marker. Anyhow, Now, out of there comes a spring. Oh, and mine's broken. So that could be part of the problem right there, why I was having something malfunction. Not sure how that's going to get replaced. I do have a second marker, which I'll probably scavenge the parts from. I don't exactly know the function of it, what it's doing, but trying to obtain another one of these, I feel like it might be mildly difficult. I might have to come up with some other kind of solution for it. Anyhow, next thing, we need to push out that gas valve. Now, the roll pin's here holding it from moving back, so you come in from the back side of it, and you need something that can reach down in there and push it out. If you have an Allen key set, one of these might do the trick. There it goes. But did I get it far enough? No, I need something longer. So, luckily, I just have a regular roll punch set, or not roll pin set, but just a punch set. This one isn't going to limit me, so I can push there. And there's your gas valve. Fat side, the big part of it goes in. Oh gosh, this is so blurry. It's fine. It's better than any video that's from like 2005, so you can deal with it. Make sure these O-rings are in good shape. When I pulled this apart the first time, one of the O-rings was like a clear one, which I think was to show like, hey, it's the front, and it was completely fried, turned to jelly. So I'll just use a little grease on here. Make sure they're in good shape. And that'll go back in. It can go up or down, as long as you put it in the right way. Use your Allen key or your pin or punch, whatever you used. And we're just going to push it back. You'll see the hole appear. You need to kind of align it. So I use the Allen key to make sure that it's where we need it to be, which is just free and clear. So when this goes back in, to hold it there, it's not obstructing the way. Use my terrible screwdriver, which I guess I could have just used as my punch piece. You screw that back in. It doesn't need to be tight. It's just keeping movement. And now it's just a reassemble in reverse order. Nothing too crazy. This is a good time to remove this if you have the proper size wrench and just do some service on the ball. I probably need to do mine so it retains paintballs. Gonna have to come up with a solution for this part. I might try and run it and just see what happens. I imagine it's just a buffer, something to hold this spring on. I don't know how intense or what it actually is used for. Here's the manual, real old. This was mistreated. That part is called number 8, cup seal. But I don't know if it's really, I guess it kind of is sealing up that, yeah. No, it is sealing the front of it from the CO2 will initially come in here, and then there's this distance how this sits here. So this has to push up against that cup in the back to, I guess, seal it against this piece. So that'll sit there. So the broken cup seal, we don't necessarily know the best solution to fix that, but I do have a second marker, which I can run instead. This also has this done. This one's working fine, so maybe this will just be on the back burner, even though I like having the blue. It's very cool. I might just run this rebuilt black marker. So yeah, dealing with the, if you're wondering, the orientation of everything, there it is, right from the manual. Very blurry because of this focus, the way it focuses. Let's see, might be able to get something a little better. There's a good shot of that. Rust spots from the staples that held it in. Anyhow, everything's listed there. Relatively straightforward. This can't go back together as is with the broken cup seal. That's just not going to work. So I'll have to do some searching around and try and find a picture for it. So yeah, that's why mine was leaking after this part. So I fixed it up and finally gassed it up, and then once it fired a few rounds, it shattered this. I guess it's just too old. But we look at the manual. It does show the large side of that gas valve, number 7 there. The large side is facing forward towards the cup seal. So I had it in there right. It might just be an age thing. So that's quite unfortunate. I was hoping this would go smoother, and I just pull it apart real fast, show you guys how to fix it. I wonder if something like that could be remade. I don't think gluing it's going to help. It'll just break up again. And it's missing material like around that now. So yeah, I'll have to find something else for that and see if there's not a replacement part I can use from a different marker that might be out on the market. I'll keep it updated in the video description. But just for continuity's sake here, I'll say that it did go back together well. You grease up the O-rings here. You can pull this apart. It's not critical. There's some grease in here that's real old and nasty. Make sure this O-ring's in good shape around your bolt. Up and in. Make sure it's kind of line them up. Those go in there. This all goes up in the back and through. This I got at Home Depot. It's a little too large for this application, but it's better than using a paper clip, which is what was on here before, and at least it looks a little better. It's going to keep it from coming out, at least, but find something smaller if you can, or use some wire to tie that down. This is going to go back on, re-grease as necessary, or make sure that's in good shape on there. This goes back on. Back on. Okay, not too tight. Gosh, I don't even want to put this back together with this, but I'm going to show you anyhow. The picture did show the this flat side facing up. I'm not sure if it actually makes a difference, but it drops down in there just like that. Once that's in, your gas valve now is going to come in here, drop in, give it a little push that seals good, and then do not strip this going back in. Get it started with my hand, just like so. And then we can switch back to, oops, sorry about that. Switch back to the screwdriver, flathead, in and twist. Making sure not to scuff it up like I've done with mine. So I'll be on eBay here in just a few minutes, either looking for a new cup seal or maybe something on the MCS site with a different pistol that uses basically the same internals. I guess there's a few things that I guess this is even a clone of. I'm not even sure which one's which. Let's get this back in. This goes on here. Back on the back, line it up, feel it out, get that started by hand. Nice and snug, not over tight. And then you would gas it up and see what happens. Leaking, so you can either have it leaking out the front, which would have been a common thing on the old puncture valve, air blowing back at you this way. Any air blowing out through the gun is that cup seal problem, where remember that piece that I have that's broken on this marker that's sitting in here on the back of the puncture valve, and then there's the cup seal, which holds that right before the gas valve, which is blocking gas from getting into the gas valve and going up and out through the gun. Remember, it comes up into this chamber, into the gun, and out. So because my cup seal's broken, when I gas this up now, it just comes out. I did have it working with this part. So just yesterday, after I rebuilt it the first time, but now we got broken cup seal, so it's a whole second set of issues. Anyhow, not the desired outcome, but it should be enough for you to consider rebuilding your own. Remember this part here from MCS, not these. Puncture valve, complete unit number 18. It's from MCS. Thanks for watching.